Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 12th episode of Carnival Cruising Podcastaways, the podcast where we talk about anything and everything Carnival Cruising related. My name is Trevor Shelby, and joining me on this crazy cruising adventure is my good friend, Thomas Kennedy.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. I am the man. Yes. I am Thomas Kennedy, and
Oh my gosh.
I am the man.
Well, that was quite the introduction there.
I can't help it. I got fans.
Yeah. Well, so we'll hold off on the autographs just yet. Today, more importantly than us, is the actual birthday celebration. So all the cruise ships are going out for Carnival's 50th birthday. And so they're going to be doing meetups.
Fun.
Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing that because, I'm imagining like all the ships tied off like in one of the lakes here in Oklahoma, where all the parties are and, people jumping from ship to ship, but
I don't think that's quite what it is, but,
oh,
no, don't. Yeah.
Well, that sucks.
Anyways, this is besides the point. This is going to be a great episode because we have none other than Brenda Kaye.
Really?
Yes. She is a hypnotist, and she's been working for different cruise agencies for years. And so she has a wonderful act, and so I can't wait to get her on. And she's actually here right now, so we better get her on the show.
Will she like hypnotize you to stop annoying your wife and
no,
making you
but
sleep on the couch? I'm
going to ask her to hypnotize you into not believing that a hot dog is a sandwich. So
that's not going to happen.
We would like to welcome today's guest, hypnotist Brenda Kaye. Brenda, thank you so much for being here and agreeing to be on today's show.
Thank you for having me, Trevor.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about what you do and kind of like where you've worked.
Well, I am a performing hypnotist and hypnotherapist. So I spent 13 years working for the cruise lines as a guest entertainer, doing a comedy hypnosis show, hosting seminars, and traveling the world doing what I love. And now, since the cruise has stopped, I've pivoted my practice back to online virtual. So helping people overcome fears, phobias, overcome their blocks, and just do the inner work to release whatever they need and to get what they want out of life.
Oh, that's really cool.
Could you hypnotize Trevor to make his wife less annoyed by him?
Ooh, that might be difficult.
You might have to hypnotize her.
Right?
One thing that I was kind of wondering is like, so you say you kind of do it like online stuff. So you can do kind of like hypnotherapy kind of online?
Yes. And
that's really cool.
Yeah, because the change really happens within your own mind. And when I have somebody in hypnosis, their eyes are closed and they're just listening to the sound of my voice. So it doesn't really matter if we're physically in the same room or connecting via Zoom. I like to do Zoom sessions so I can see them and I can respond to what's going on within their body and, look for those physical cues to see how they're responding to the hypnosis. But absolutely, the change happens in the mind, so you can do it anywhere.
Oh, that's amazing. You said you work for, was it Norwegian?
Norwegian and Celebrity. Yeah.
And Celebrity. Okay.
For the most part, Norwegian. Yeah.
So what was like how many shows did you typically do during, like, if you had like a week-long cruise or anything like that? What were your show schedules kind of like?
Yeah, it was really pretty easy. I would do the main theater shows and do like a 7 and a 9 o'clock slot. And then I would do a late night show, which was a little more adults. And then I would host a couple seminars. So whatever they had room for.
Okay.
So about 3 shows and 2 seminars in a week, or, you could do that same in like a 14-day cruise.
Yeah. I looked you up on YouTube, and you got some shows that are on there, and you got your own YouTube channel. I will say I died laughing watching some of your shows. They are wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you.
Besides the entertainment side, I've heard of hypnosis being used for like stop smoking and bad habits, but I also saw like on one of your Facebook videos recently that you'd actually helped somebody with something like fertility, and I thought that was really amazing. I never really thought that you could use that in that area. What other types of things can you do with like hypnosis and hypnotherapy?
Yeah, and fertility is really amazing. And I claim, one of the coolest things I've ever done with hypnosis is help women get pregnant or get women pregnant. And I joke that, you guys do it all the time, but I'm a girl that helped another girl get pregnant. So I think that's pretty awesome. But it's just a matter of like releasing blocks in the body. Sometimes people hold on to emotional blocks that keep their body from functioning properly. So you can do it to improve health. Another great tool for hypnosis is hypnobirth, helping women have healthy, natural, easy birthing experiences. You can use it to manage pain, to manage stress, to find your purpose, which is what I used hypnosis for, to find out what am I supposed to be doing in life. You can use it for sports performance. A lot of professional golfers and athletes have also used it. But weight loss and smoking are the 2 most common things.
Okay.
So back to the entertainment side.
Mhm.
When I was in high school, the day after my graduation, and then in college, the same hypno entertainer, Dr. Bellows, came to my college and my high school, and he did some really weird things. Like in college, his show, which included my roommate, he made everyone think that they're watching a porno with their best friend.
Oh no.
I mean, what do you do anything that causes embarrassment like that to them? During your shows.
I have a rule. I would never give somebody a suggestion that I wouldn't feel comfortable giving to myself or to somebody that I know. So the point of the show is never to embarrass anybody. I want people to feel good about their experience and what they've done. And
Well,
so
most of the people on the stage were like covering their eyes, except for my roommate, who was like, thought it was entertainment. He like sprawled out, and said, entertainment.
Well, and it's fun because you wouldn't do anything in hypnosis that you wouldn't do normally after a couple drinks. Hypnosis just lowers your inhibitions. It makes you a little more free. And if watching porn for him is fun and exciting, yeah, he's totally going to get into it. But
Except for I was in the porn, he said.
What does that say about him?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It says something there.
I really don't know.
Yeah. And so what's fun is that everybody is so different. You can give 100 people the same suggestion and they're going to do something different with it based on their own wants, their own needs, their personalities. When a fun suggestion that I like to give is that, on the count of 3, they will smell their favorite smell. And then it suddenly they discover that it's coming from the neck of their neighbor, and they'll lean in and grab a big whiff. And then to see somebody smelling this person they don't know, and they're up and smelling their neck. But then I'll ask them, what is it that you're smelling? And some people are like, oh, it's roses. Oh, it's chocolate. And then I get, chicken, which is like random. But one of the most memorable ones is this guy. He goes, marijuana. And he said it just like that. I'm like, marijuana is your favorite smell? And the whole audience is like, wow.
That's
and
great.
This is before it was legal. So, but
wow.
You just never know.
Yeah. I saw a good example of that on your Facebook page with Bill the Butt Grabber.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Can you tell that story?
So I give a suggestion where I ask a man who their favorite celebrity is. And then I tell them every time I say the name of that celebrity, you'll believe that I am that celebrity and you'll want to come over. You're excited to meet me. You'll want to shake my hand, maybe give me a hug, maybe even a kiss. But you'll discover with it when you come, the closer you get to me, that my breath smells really, really bad. And it's so bad that it burns your eye or, it burns your nose hair, makes your eyes water, yada, yada, all this. So this guy tells me that Marilyn Monroe is his favorite celebrity. So I say the name Marilyn Monroe and he walks over to me really slow, really, because he's, kind of out of it. And then he grabs me, gives me a hug, and then grabs my butt and starts squeezing. And I'm like, okay, this is going bad fast. And then I'm blowing in his face, like my bad breath would make him go away, which usually works. He just turned his head and he leaned in harder and squeezed even harder. And I finally had to physically push him away because he just didn't even care.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that video is hilarious because when he goes in, you can see when he first hits the breath, and his reaction is
back.
It's just he throws back, but then he kind of it's like he's avoiding it.
Right.
And he goes in there like he's getting tactical here. He had a plan and he was going for it.
Yeah, it was kind of like he hit a wall and then he he diverted to get in and get that squeeze.
Yeah, that's great. I really like how your show, the one that I had watched, it was set up really well with, you had one person that was doing security, and I guess he was trying to keep people quiet, I believe, and that were there laughing, and then there was one person, anytime people applause, they would get up and they thought the applause was for them. It was just too funny. With the shows, well, besides the shows, have they ever had you do anything on the ships that has to do on the hypnotherapy side? Or have they ever thought about doing anything like that?
Well, as a guest entertainer, I'm only contracted to do the shows and the seminars.
Okay.
And a lot of people would ask, can I do one-on-one therapy with you? And the ship just wouldn't allow the space. And I don't know if there's a liability, but no, we would just never do that.
Okay.
But in order to help serve the people, the guests that are intrigued about hypnosis and they want to learn more, then I have audio recordings and hypnosis recordings that they can listen to. And in my seminars, I do actually hypnotize the entire audience just to give them a taste of what hypnosis feels like without having to perform or be in front of people. Because sometimes, people are interested, but they just don't want to star in a show, or they don't want to be made to do something goofy, but they do want the experience and the benefits of it. So that's why I really love to do the seminars, to give them a taste.
That actually brings me to a question. In the video I partially watched, people in the audience falling, becoming hypnotized, I guess, by accident. Now, do you just automatically put them into the show, or do you wake them up, or what happens in that when that happens?
It depends on the circumstance, and I like it when people go into hypnosis in the audience, because then it's a whole separate show. And the people that are in the audience are like, okay, this is really happening and what's going on. And it really lends to the realness of the experience. And so I always set in the parameters that even if you're responding to the suggestions from the audience, you'll do so in a very safe manner, so that it's just safe for them. If they're really good and I have extra seats on stage, I'll bring them up on stage. So it really just depends. But I turn the house lights on, I see where they're going, or, I see what they're doing. And I also give them suggestions.
Okay, so you give them separate suggestions than what's on the stage then?
Well, they can play out they can do the same things that people are doing on the stage, which is funny, especially if they're playing guitar or, smelling the person next to them. but I'll also give the suggestion that every time I say my name, you'll scream and shout and tell me how much you love me. You're my biggest fan. And so just randomly throughout the show, I'll say my name, and then that person stands up and shouts. So everybody in the audience knows where they are, and I know where they are. And I can see if they're still in hypnosis, if they're responding or not.
About how many people per show don't actually hypnotized have them from the show?
It depends. I usually set up about 16 chairs, and I'll invite 16 people on stage. Sometimes I keep everybody. Sometimes I've gone down to just 5 people. So it really depends on the night. It depends on the volunteers that I pick, and how responsive they are. So, and I won't keep anybody on the stage that I know clearly is not in trance, because then that's not fun for anybody.
Yeah.
If you don't mind telling us, what are the contracts like that you've done before? Like, how long are they for, or like what's kind of like the norm for you?
Well, in working with an agent, you can tell your agent, like, here's what's ideal for me, and then they'll do their best to get it for you. And when I first started, I just said, give me whatever you can give me. And sometimes it was a couple weeks. Sometimes my longest contract was 3.5 months. And so it just depends. But my ideal contract was 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. And they honored that for 2 years. I was able to do that. And that was really, really awesome. And I would bounce between all of the different ships at some point. And then for those 2 years where I was 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off, I was on the same ship. So it was me and another entertainer. We had the same cabin, and we were like roommates. Like, I was on for 2 weeks, he was on for 2 weeks, and then back and forth. So it was nice just to have a home and just to have like that consistency. But the one thing that's consistent in the cruising industry is inconsistency. You just never know. You have to go with the flow. Like, sometimes they need you to bounce. You're on this ship for 2 weeks, and then you need to go to this other ship for 2 more weeks, and then you can go home. But you just never know.
With cruising coming back, it seems like all the ships from the major cruise lines are almost all restarted. Are you going to consider going back to the cruise industry, or are you going to stay on land?
I haven't decided yet. I really liked being a stay-at-home puppy mom and working virtually for the past 2 years. And my dog and I are kind of attached. You can see her in the background. She's never too far away. And I know that things are changing daily on ships as far as occupancy and restrictions. And so I'm just kind of waiting to see what life is going to be like on board. So I'll probably give it a little while.
Okay.
So with your kind of extensive, working history with the cruise industry, was it hard to maintain like personal relationships or maintaining contact with friends and family, especially being out at sea? Or was your schedule like the 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off? Did that really kind of help?
Crafting that schedule did help. And funny enough, when I started cruising, when I got the opportunity to live this dream life, I had just started dating my boyfriend at the time. We'd been dating for 6 months. And I said, you're really cool and I really like you, but I'm going to go do this. And I might be gone for 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years. I don't know. If you're here when I get back, that's cool. If you're not, totally understand, but I'm going to go do this. And so he waited, and then 9 years later he married me, and now what? Oh my gosh, how long has it been? So he's still around. So he's was super supportive and understanding the whole time. It's really hard to be away, and that's why I tried to find that work-life balance with the 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off. But, if they're real friends, they'll understand. But, it's hard because when you're out at sea, you miss birthdays, you miss your nieces and nephews growing up, and you miss a lot of things. But, it's a sacrifice you make for doing the work that you love.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of like what my buddy Zach said. He was a musician on Carnival, and we actually interviewed him not too long ago.
Hmm.
And he was with Carnival for about 11 years, and he said that was the hardest thing. The his contracts were different from yours. You know, he had a 13-month contract at one point, and
Hmm.
you know he stayed on ship and played forever. So,
Hmm.
but he said that keeping his friends off of the ship were kind of, was hit or miss, because those who stayed, and those who didn't, you know.
Yeah. And thank goodness for the Wi-Fi and social media. Like,
Yeah.
just staying connected that way was a saving grace. And I know, like, when you're an employee of the cruise line, you do have those long contracts.
Yeah,
And oftentimes you have extra duties in addition to your job. So
yeah,
working like I was as a contractor, you're not technically, it's a weird thing. You're not technically a crew member, but you are. But you just don't have to do the extra duties. It's weird.
Yeah.
it's kind of like when the comedians come on board, right, is that what?
Yeah. The comedians are, most of the entertainers are additional crew, so contract workers instead of employees of the
Okay.
cruise line. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about, or do you have like a TikTok or like YouTube Shorts or anything like that you do any of your shows, or you have any like clips of your shows or anything like that?
I started doing Instagram Reels,
Oh yeah.
so have clips of the shows there. I just started TikTok like a month ago because I was like, not another social media thing.
Yeah.
And then I just had to put pause on TikTok because I can't do TikTok and Reels and Facebook and like everything. So you can find the short little video clips on Instagram.
On Instagram, on
Yeah.
the Reels. Yeah, I was gonna say I imagine the short form video on some of those would be hilarious. So I was just thinking that could blow up.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. And I really need to dig back more into my videos and get those clips out.
Yeah. Have you had anything like just like kind of like wild or crazy happen on stage? Any funny stories or anything like that that's kind of happened?
Yeah, there's so many just wacky things. And that's the one thing with hypnosis, you have to expect the unexpected, much like Butt Grabber Bill. Never in a million years imagined that would happen. And that same suggestion, a different night, somebody came over to me walking like a zombie and just straight honked my boobs. I was like, oh my God. Like, thank God I had like a super padded bra on that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, didn't expect that in a million years.
Wow.
Another
Wow.
right? And, and I'm just in shock. I'm like, okay. And
Yeah.
but there was another can I get a little PG-13?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay, so it was my adult show, and I never do anything. I never want anything to go like super bad, or I don't give the suggestions in a sexual way. However, one of my favorite suggestions is to tell a guy that his favorite body part gets bigger every time I say a certain word. So 9 times out of 10, you know what that favorite body part is, but when it's not what you think it is, it's even funnier. But this time, the guy's favorite body part was in his pants. And I said, okay, and it was getting bigger and he was happy about that. And then I said, well, now your favorite body part is telling you funny jokes. And you think these jokes are so funny that you want to share them with us. And thinking he would tell us a funny joke. And I'm talking to the audience, and what I don't see behind me at the time is that he is standing up and going to everybody, that all the people that are sitting on stage, and he's putting his junk in their face.
Oh,
like
no.
not physically whipping it out, but just pointing at his.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, listen. And then he comes over to me, he grabs my head, pushes my head down in his lap, telling me to listen. was beside myself. I was laughing so hard I couldn't even speak for like a minute.
Oh, that is great.
Yeah, so that went bad in the best way. And so yeah, he never actually told us the joke, but so that happened. But I've also had, I do a skit where I tell them that I'm their teacher and the kid, and they're in a second grade class. So all of the volunteers are just little kids. They're goofing off behind my back. But when I'm looking at them, perfect angels. So behind my back, they're throwing spit wads. They've pulled my hair. They've pushed each other. They've pulled each other's hairs. But one time there was a guy, and he was army crawling on the stage. I saw it in the video later. He's army crawling on the stage behind me. I look down and he's looking up my dress. And I said, Captain Lou, because that's what he called himself. I've never forgot. Captain Lou, what are you doing? And he ran back to his seat and he covered his eyes and he hid from me. Like, if he can't see me, I can't see him. And, it was so funny.
Oh, wow.
They've thrown shoes at me.
Oh,
gosh. There's so many just random things that have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Is there anything about like the just cruise life in general, like living on the boat or anything like that that you found interesting or kind of different, maybe not what you expected when you started doing it?
Yeah, when I started, I had never been on a cruise, never seen a cruise ship in real life. I just thought it would just be the coolest thing. What I really learned to love about cruise life is that everything is within walking distance. The people that you're on with, they just become your family. And there's always something fun to do. There's always something to do. There's always new people to meet. And every day is an adventure. And, you'd learn how to create your own fun, and sometimes you'd get bored with the food at the buffet. So you just get crafty on like, what can I make today? So that was really, really a blast.
So as a contractor, do you get to mingle with the guests, or do you still have to conform to the way the crew has to can't get, like friendly with the guests,
Yeah. You're not allowed to fraternize at all with the guests, but as a guest entertainer, you have the best of both worlds. So you can go access the crew areas, or at least you used to be able to, and hang out with the crew, go to the crew bar, and then still mingle among the passengers, hang out with them, go to all the dance clubs, go to the restaurants, go to the bars, and hang out with them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of like that was actually what I was getting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
one day I'll be able to talk. I don't know when. We've been doing this for months, and I still can't talk. I don't know.
That's okay.
Well, that's about all the time that we have today. Do you have anything like socials or anything like? I know you do have a website. It's BrendaHypnotist.com.
Yes.
And you have your YouTube channel, which is Hypno Brenda. It's youtube.com/HypnoBrenda.
Yes.
Did you have anything else that you wanted to mention?
My Instagram is also at HypnoBrenda. So if you want to follow me there and check out my little reels. But yeah, I host events from time to time. So if you want to get on my mailing list, please do so. I'll update you when I have hypnotic happy hours. Those are just fun little get-togethers to use hypnosis for different things, for relaxation, stress control. I'm going to be hosting some different weight management seminars or workshops, or maybe money manifesting, different things like that. But if you get on my mailing list or just get in touch with me, I'll keep you up to date on the online events that I have coming up.
Awesome.
So Hypno Happy Hour.
Yeah, hypnotic happy hour.
So it's a cheap. You'll make us feel happy without paying the bar prices. Awesome.
It's the best natural buzz you'll ever get. The
That's
most
great.
fun you can have with your eyes closed. Almost.
Yeah. The links will be in the description. So if anybody wants to go check those out, definitely go and subscribe and definitely watch some of those shows. They are hilarious. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for being with us today.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Well, we want to once again thank Brenda Kaye for joining us on this episode. That is all the time we have for today. That was actually
that was pretty long. It was fun and informational. We need to do more. We're kind of becoming the interview people.
Yes, and I'm sincere when I say this, Brenda. You need to come back on the show. We had so much fun. So that is all we got for right now. So I guess, Tom, you gonna send us off?
Well, if you want to find us, you can find us on Facebook at Carnival Cruising Podcastaways. Just search there, or facebook.com/Carnival Cruising Podcastaways. We have a group and a podcast page. So join both. We do update both. And you can find Trevor and I's social medias linked at the bottom. And just remember, guys, anything that happens on the ship stays on YouTube. Bye.
See ya.